Okay, I wanted to cover some of the basic questions that are still being asked of me on my videos. I'll try and put links in the frame to show the other videos, but these are the tools that I use for putting the slots in my trays. And I have a regular adjustable dado, which does a flat bottom style. And I use a round tooth. It's a pre-cut, so you're only set to 5/16. I can change these teeth to go to 1/4 inch. So there's 6 to 8 millimeters. So I have a 6 millimeter, and this is an 8 millimeter. And it's just basically a homemade tool that goes on place of a table saw. It's like a dado, only it's just a tooth instead of an adjustable tooth. It's just one set round tooth to do this style. Okay, so then I wanted to go through cleaning these. I did cover this in other videos, like I said, but I'll just do it real quickly. You have your options of a wire brush. I have different sizes of wire brushes. I also have scraper tools. So I have a curved scraper tool to do this. It fits perfectly this round bottom style. I can flip it over on some of the wider ones and go flat. Or I can use this other tool that has a flat bottom so that I can do these thinner ones. It's the same tool. It's just a scraper. These have already been cleaned, but I'm just showing you how that would work. And you can go one step further again, and you can actually use a piece of sandpaper and start to sand it out yourself. So once I've got these all cleaned and ready to go, I then clean my see-through covers on them. And I got a couple different styles here, wide ranging of styles, because I go shorter, longer. I go 3 channels per tray, or I go 4 channels per tray. Some of my trays are even wider. So this is essentially how I do it. I'll start with the simple one. I get the full cover, and I've cleaned these. I actually soaked them overnight in some leftover dishwater. And I don't really care about the residue of tape. It's not that big a deal. It's going to get covered again. Oh, I should just mention the tape. This green masking tape I do not use at all. I find it gets too sticky in the sun, and so I do not use that stuff. You have to use this darker green tape. It's actually called painter's masking tape. It's really cheap too. This other stuff is just fine. You can get this in green as well, but this stuff works fine. It just goes down the center. You'll see what I'm going to do when it comes to this tray here. So I get this, I lay it on there. It's the right length and width. I get the tape ready to go, and I go about 1 inch short of the entire length. It's close enough. I then just hold it here, put it along the edge so I'm not covering up the actual see-through part, and it's catching it. And I fold it over and I get it on there. Flip it around, do the same thing on the other side. So it's actually a little short of the ends. You'll see what happens when I put the end pieces on. Right there. Then I get my tape and I do the ends. I start at the side and I go over the top. So I put on the side at the end, I go over the top, around the side, and then do the bottom, and I finish up on the top. And the reason I do that is because I have 2 layers on the top, and the sun that hits there, it will ruin a bit of the top stuff, which is fine because the stuff underneath will be protected from the UV, and it just peels off a lot easier. If you leave them on for a long time, like many years without doing this, it gets worse and worse and more adhered to the plastic. Same thing at the other end. Start on the side, I go over the top, along the bottom, and I finish on one more layer on the top, rip it off, it's done. And I put this with the rest of them. And now the triple ones. The triple ones are a little more tedious. So I grab one of these and stick it pretty similar. Something like that. Same thing, I use the green paint to start with. sorry, the green painter's tape to start with. And now here comes the one that's slightly different. You're probably wondering why I do this. This is a little bit different. They're more tedious to do, these ones. I go to this thinner tape. Of course, I hadn't started this one, so I have to get it going here. But this stuff lends itself better to prevent mites from crossing laterally. If mites come in with the bees, they can't just jump right over to the adjacent channel. With these ones being a little bit open, they can actually cross underneath very slightly. These mites are super small, so they can crawl right through and infect the one next door to it. This tape down here actually prevents them from doing that. So if they do get into one spot, they're contained within that one cell in that channel of that tray. So this helps prevent them from going laterally to infect other adjacent cells in the other channels. And then I finish up with the end piece again, same thing. So you get less channels, but you have more protected channels when you go to a wider, like this. This is a 1x4 piece of pine or spruce. You can use cedar. Cedar's really great too. And but this way you have more protection from mites being isolated in their own spot. And on that note about the cedar, I've had people say, can you use cedar? Doesn't it repel bees? It absolutely does not. Cedar is actually the best stuff. It's just more expensive. So these are mostly pine, these ones. And that one. And these are all cedar. So then I would get these. And this one, you'll see that they're numbered. So then I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because number 1 is the top, and they would go into this one here. This one actually is a standalone condo, and you can mount it against a wall, and that one would be screwed to your wall or fence or what have you. This one. And these all just go in their own little boxes as well, so I would just get these ones. Same thing, I've got the numbered top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just so you know, these things are probably 20 years old. I use them over and over and over. And they just go in there like that. Same thing with these, they just go in their own little box. These ones, they go in their box. And this is a different style again. So this is actually cedar again. These are just cedar blocks that are drilled right through, and they're separated. These are individual slots. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these are little pieces of door skin, like 1/8 mahogany, to just keep them all aligned so they're not actually twisting around. Plus I just wrapped them and put a tape around them, and I put them in a box. And these are really easy to deal with. These would be good if you wanted to put straws in them. I just use straight wood, none of that paper tubes to keep buying every year. I just go straight with a straight hole down there, and they come apart. And this is quite old, this one too. This is another 20-year-old box. I can tell by the writing on it that my dad did it, and he's been gone for a long time. So that's the different styles. That's the taping of it, because people have been asking me about that. The actual plastic, it's up to you what you want. I go with a fairly thin plastic. I don't know what it is. I have to research that because somebody asked me, and I will be looking into that. There's various thicknesses of plastic you can come up with. You can go straight from right from plexiglass, which is a really thick piece of 1/8 material, whatever. You have to drill it and put holes and screws it and everything like that. But this is just a fairly flimsy stuff that you can use tape on it, and it all does the same thing. And of course I have different lengths, so there's I think it's like a 12 inch, and these are like a 6 inch, and these are like 8 inches, 10 inch. And it's good to experiment with different lengths to see what you get for bees. Okay.